so good at it. She's so good at making certain, and this is an analogy, that the garden has the appropriate amount of nutrients and water in order to grow. She's so good at that. And now it's an opportunity for me to do it and for her to allow it. So she's saying yes to Greg. She's saying yes to the things that Greg can do now. She's saying yes to the things that you can do now. She's saying yes to life in a very, very interesting way. I mean, this is the way this thing works, you guys, and you're all a part of it. You get that, right? You understand that? Absolutely. So that's the update for Jackie. She is in this magnificent space within her that says, I'm healing, I'm loved, I'm full of life, and I am whole. And with that kind of an attitude, with that kind of consciousness spreading throughout the universe, it's not only helping her, but it's helping us. It's a give and take. When she seeks to help herself in that way, she also helps us. Because that consciousness of healing and wholeness and love travels through the walls to different countries, to different universes, wherever there are no boundaries. When I said this to her a couple of days ago, I said, well, you know, the consciousness of every person that cares for you, and I don't know of a person who doesn't, it's coming. We don't have to open the door or the window to allow it to come in, you know, because it's here. It's always here. It travels from far away. It brings such love. All you have to do is allow it. Allow it to be a part of your life. And allowing is really yes. So let's get a little deep. You ready for a little deep, Jackie? We're going to get a little deep here because I want to talk a little bit about the meaning of life. You guys ever ask yourself, what's the meaning of life? You know, what does it mean? That's a heavy-duty question, isn't it? That's like, I mean, if you're a philosophy student, they're going to ask you that question. And really, in the beginning, you'd probably better say, I don't know. I mean, really, that's probably a really good way to start that conversation. I don't know what the meaning of life is. And then as you go through a philosophy class and you parse out things that other people have thought and said and written, you sort of begin to realize that, yeah, maybe there are some things that I can key on to find some meaning in life. And then as you move along, you go, well, maybe not. Maybe that's probably a bunch of BS, you know, and that doesn't seem to work. And I don't believe that. And how do people really think that works? And so by the time you're taking your final exam, you're saying, when that question is asked, I don't know, and you get an A. So you start not knowing, which is really a good place to start. You go through all of this stuff and you realize you don't know anything, so the answer is, I don't know. The answer is always going to be, I don't know. But if you don't know what the meaning of life is for you, there could be some trouble in the works, couldn't there be? I mean, because it's really an individual experience. Some person might say, well, the meaning of life is you know, a basketball season. Oh, that's the meaning of life. I absolutely love basketball, you know. The meaning of life is to be happy. The meaning of life is joy. The meaning of life is service. The meaning of life is whatever you want it to be. All you have to do is say yes to that idea, right? So the meaning of life is individualized in you. All right. So I, of course, came up with a quote that supports that. And it's me. You see, when I can't find quotes that support that, I make it up. And it's absolutely the truth. Life seeks meaning through you. Life seeks meaning through you. You're not necessarily seeking the meaning of life, but life is seeking meaning through you. Because you're in charge of it. You're in charge of that. How cool, huh? You can quote it. You can say, Greg Dorst wrote that, but he gave it to me. He gave it so you can go ahead and take credit for it. Because I think it's the truth. I really do. And it has a lot to do with this idea of opening up a space for things to happen. It has a lot to do with the idea that what we do as human beings to experience life is open up to that experience. Because if you don't open up to the experience, you're just not going to get it. So in your mind, I believe, this is what happens in my mind, and it might happen in yours too, when no is the answer, it sort of tightens up your world a little bit. It makes it a little bit smaller. You know, when there's no everywhere you turn, how many of you have had bosses who, when you come up with an idea, will say no? No. They just no. They don't want to do that. No. That's the first response, is no. I have been married to that. Not in this iteration, but in another. And some of you probably have had relationships where that happens too, in families, in love relationships, where the answer is no. The answer is just going to be no. And that tightens up your world. It makes it smaller. The yes answer opens things up. It opens it up to possibilities. It opens it up to expectations. It opens it up to ideas that can be utilized and can be brought to fruition through this opening in you. So you've heard nature abhors a vacuum, right? All right, so when you say yes to something and you know something's going to occur as a result of it, there's sort of a vacuum there, and it's going to be filled. It is going to be filled. And it's going to be filled with what you expect. That's what it's going to be filled with. So you can say yes to something, but follow it up with this idea in your own mind. That's not going to work. You can, and people do. You can say, oh, yeah, I'll do that, but that's not going to work. Well, it works by not working, you see. It does. I mean, because as you think, so shall you be. As you believe, so shall it unfold. So it's going to work. The idea is going to work, but by not working. So saying yes to something opens up a whole new set of possibilities in your life. You're not going to get anywhere by saying no to everything. I mean, that's an easy one. You say no to everything, and the relationships, no. Creativity, no. Prosperity, no. Health, no. No. But yes sets up a whole new relationship with those issues. Yes sets up a whole new relationship with life. Now, when I say yes is really the best way to go, I'm not talking about in every single situation. I mean, sometimes there are things that you really should not say yes to. I am a member of another group of people who work together each and every day to make their lives better so that drugs and alcohol do not become a part of life again. I have 25 years of sobriety, and I do certain things because I want to move forward, not backward. So I look at this situation and I think, well, I had my mentors back then too. Somebody handed me something and said, try this. And I'm not saying yes is a good idea under those circumstances. No, it's not. I'm not saying yes is a good idea in every circumstance. Every circumstance demands the attention that is necessary to determine whether or not it's the right way to go. Some discernment, as we say. But typically, if there's something that opens up possibilities for you in a relationship or the prosperity of your life in ways that are emotionally rewarding, financially rewarding, physically rewarding, and you can see that, then it might be a good idea to say yes. How about your spouse, your loved one, your grandchildren, your children say to you, how would you like to take a walk in the rain? And you go, no. And a lot of people would say no. They go, no. Why? Well, I'll get wet. All right, okay. Maybe that's a good reason for you to say no. But imagine the possibilities of that relationship when you say yes to it. Yeah. It says you want to be with that person. It says you're willing to experience things with that person. It says you'll have something to talk about later on down the road. It says that for a little while, the two of you are as one in this magnificent storm where we just get a little bit wet. I mean, the amazing things that can happen when you say yes to something like that are beyond belief. You don't get that opportunity if you say no. You don't. You don't get the opportunity for vibrant health if you decide that you don't want to go walking at all. You don't want to ride that bicycle. You don't want to do any exercises. You don't want to go to the gym. You don't want to eat right. But you still want to feel good, and you don't understand why you don't. Saying yes to the good things that, are obviously good as they show up can be a really magnificent experience. And this is the kind of yes I'm talking about. This is the kind of yes that says, to me, a bunch of things. It says, I'm enjoying life. I love life. I want to live it. I'm up for the experiences. And it also says something deeper for me. And I'm going to talk about this for just a moment because this is from the teaching of Eric Butterworth that I really, really subscribe to. I really love Eric Butterworth. And I'm going to read a section of his teaching. But there's something about yes that for me and for Eric Butterworth defines faith. Defines faith. So if you say yes, what you're doing is showing intense faith that the good that is in that yes is going to show up in your life. Saying yes is actually a demonstration of faith in and of itself, isn't it? Just saying yes. Listen to this. This will give greater context to this. Eric Butterworth, by the way, for those of you who may not know, is one of the most prolific writers and speakers ever to come through Unity. There's a whole section in the Unity archives on Eric Butterworth, and I'm a real fan of Eric Butterworth. And by the way, Charles, if you're listening and watching or whatever you're doing, thank you very much for all the materials. You see, when I started talking about Eric Butterworth, Charles DeTurk, who at the time was in Atlanta, now he's in Michigan, looked through all of the things that he had that he didn't want to move to Michigan that were about Eric Butterworth and decided to send them to me. So I have a bit of an archive myself on Eric Butterworth. If I want to hear his voice, I just put it in. If I want to read something that he wrote, I've got it. In fact, most everyone here has that access too, because there's something called truthunity.net that has a lot of his writings and a lot of his recordings. Truthunity.net. And Luann, who's in the back there, is a real fan of truthunity.net. In fact, she did a lot of the typing for that website. Good stuff. Here's what he said. Faith is a factor of the natural man, as natural as seeing or hearing or tasting. Having someone say that his problem is lack of faith, there's really no such thing as lack of faith. Faith is as natural to us as breathing. So the proper question is, what are you believing in? Worry is faith. Anger is faith. Fury is faith. Insecurity is faith. They're believing in the wrong things. So faith is not something to find somewhere. You don't get faith by going to church. You don't get faith by studying pages of a book. You don't receive faith like a diploma at the end of a course of study. Faith is a free gift of God which all persons have, but only a few persons use rightly. Faith is an attempt to demonstrate the magic of picking yourself up by the bootstraps. Faith is your consent. It is saying yes to the outforming of the creative process. You think this is making faith too simple? It is simple. The truth is, faith is simply saying yes. That's all I'm saying. Yes. Say yes. That is the greatest faith you can possibly demonstrate. Saying yes. Does that make sense? That makes sense? I mean, I can see the wheels turning. I can see in your mind you're saying, yeah, when I say yes to this, I have faith that the outcome is going to be magnificent, that it's going to be wonderful. I don't use any of these things that are human in nature and character to diminish the good that I think is coming. I don't stand here and say, have a negative attitude toward everything. See the trouble that's a brewing. You know, keep an eye out for problems, problem people, problem circumstances. Well, maybe that's appropriate sometimes, given circumstances, but what we're doing is we're seeing the good as it unfolds. We're feeling it, we're knowing it, we're believing in it, and that's why we said yes. It's a demonstration of faith. Oh man, this word yes is really incredible, isn't it? You say yes to life and amazing things can happen. You say yes to the life that unfolds in front of you, the vibrancy that is available to you, and amazing things can happen. You too could live to be 94, sir. And his beautiful young wife, who is, aren't you a little older than him? You're a week older, right, or something like that? 2 months older. Joy's 2 months old. She's older than you. 2 94-year-olds. Who else is in their 90s in here? Raise your hand. Look at it. Marty was up here talking about things that I don't even understand. She's so deep. And she's 90 years old. It's incredible. 91. I mean, you know what? Your expectation is that your vibrancy, the life force in you continues in its fullness. That's what your expectation is. I know that because we've had conversations about that. You know, but that's the same expectation Jackie has in her healing process. That's the same expectation I have when I meet people. This is going to be good. Seriously, this is going to be good. Yeah, a lot of power in yes. Lots of power in it. So I'm just going to say yes to the end of this. And know that you guys have the love of God in you, express the beauty of God as you, and are fully awake and alive today, and so it is. Amen. And we got Millie Ann. Now, my mother's name was Millie. My mother passed away in 1999, and so I have this special fondness in my heart for the name Millie, and I cannot forget that. She's the one who named me Gregory, a name that I don't like much. And I asked her why she did that, and she said, "Oh, Gregory Peck." And it changed everything, you see? It changed everything. I go, "Oh, right. Yeah, I can do Gregory Peck." Thank you for ushering today, Millie. Thank you so much. So what we do is we have in our hearts a knowing that the good of this world is supportable, and the unity of Pasadena is the good of this world. It not only facilitates the beauty that you see right here, but throughout the community. We are a helping hand. We're a goodness in the community itself, and we just recognize and know that, and we try and nurture it in ways that really make sense for us. So would you please join me today in our community giving statement? God is the source of my overflowing supply, and I am grateful. And so it is. Thank you. Mitch, you got something for us?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love. Say yes and sing holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love. Say yes and sing, holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you.
Millie, please step forward. By the way, thanks for the tambourine too. You were probably amazing. You were probably really amazing during Grateful Dead tours and all that kind of stuff too. I mean, it was just, I'll bet you were. I could just see you spinning around in your tie-dye, you know, fantastic. Yep, there you go. So thank you, Millie. I appreciate it. So what we know is this. We know that these tithes and treasures are received with a grateful, open heart. We say yes. We also say yes to the service that can be provided with these tithes and treasures. We say yes to the beauty that unfolds as a result of their use in proper ways with integrity. We say yes to the idea that this benefits not just us, but the world. A new consciousness on its way through each and every one of us. I release it with great thanksgiving in my heart. I release it knowing that it's already done. And please join me by saying, and so it is. Amen. All right. Okay, so we're going to do a prayer for protection. And if you'd stand up for this, because we're going to start singing afterward. What are we going to sing today, Mitch?
Peace song.
By the way, you're amazing. By the way, you are just amazing. If you'd like prayer after service, stay in your seats and a prayer chaplain will come and help you with that. So thank you very much. So here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, and beyond agree. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be the joyous vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
please enjoy.